Hello and welcome to Dusty VCR, the podcast where we rewatch old movies from our childhood and decide whether they still hold up. I'm your host, Michael Lynch, and I'm joined by my co-host and sister, Rachel Lynch. Rachel, how are you?
I'm great, feeling nice and fresh. Shaved off my winter leg hairs today.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah. I took a nice shot of the before and the after. I might post it on the page.
Yeah, we need more for
Please do.
Dusty VCR Instagram.
The before leg and the after leg,
Yeah.
at the same time.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm feeling real airy, cooled down. I
Nice.
was hot for most of the day. Took my coat off. Now I'm feeling great.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
I feel like you should just maintain for the entire summer a before leg and after leg so that people can always see.
I know. Well, so our friend Laura, she made this great video. She has some really thick leg hair.
Oh.
And she made a great video where she made like a stylish band around her ankle of hair. She like shaved everything but this one band.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, guys get to play around with their facial hair and do different styles, goatees
it's
and
like,
beards and stashes. Like
it's like the equivalent of a handlebar mustache,
Yes.
except it's with leg hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have that to aspire to.
I know. I thought about doing something like that, but I was in a rush to come here.
Speaking of hairy men, I'm doing great, Michael. Thanks for asking.
Xena Dreyfus here.
Zena's in a muscle shirt
I am in a muscle
to
shirt.
intimidate us all.
I've been in a muscle shirt all day.
Yeah.
I had quite a disturbing experience at the gym this morning.
Oh.
I was there pretty early, and it was just like in the weight section of the gym, just me and a couple other dudes. And this one dude who was, pumping iron, every time he would, push the weights or pull the weights, he would grunt and say, yeah. And it was terrible. It was terrible. So he was, as you could imagine, he was going, yeah. It was sick. It was really sick. And, I was disturbed by it.
So I take it you're not a gym grunter.
Oh my gosh, no, I'm not a gym. I mean, if you need to release a little air, sure, but don't be saying all your sex noises in the gym. Keep those separate,
Yeah, I used to go to the gym in New York, and there was a lot of, I don't know, people that would make those weird noises. Also people that would randomly start singing along to their music. They'd be like listening to headphones, and then they just, like, all of a sudden you'd hear them be like, "You said you was a gangster," and then just stop and continue walking.
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah. But did it make you feel like uncomfortable? Like you
No,
needed to become
sex
invisible?
noises are grosser. I've had that too, and I'm like, don't do that.
Please don't do that and look at me.
Yeah. And finally, we're joined by our guest, Kathy Lynch, no relation.
Hello.
Kathy, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be in the presence of other Lynches who aren't my cousins or my parents.
Yeah, the feeling is mutual. It's very
nice.
exciting for us.
I can say that I'm like feeling a little competitive with you, Kathy, because I'm kind of like, my life's goal is to win a spot into the Lynch family, and I feel like you're kind of a shoo-in,
It just came out of nowhere.
Kathy, I have a question for you. We were talking when you came in about there's a Facebook group where we live in South Hadley for people that are giving away free stuff. And I know that you're active on this group.
I am. I give away. So it's a good resource if you want to give away stuff that is like harder to donate to someplace like Goodwill. Like I give away a lot of like half-used craft supplies, random stuff like that. I feel bad throwing in the dumpster. And it's pretty amazing the stuff that gets in demand on there. I gave away this strange throw pillow that I was given as a gift that I didn't want, and like 20 people commented on it.
Wow.
Like, what a great offer. I would love this for my daughter. So it's interesting. You see a lot of the same people on there wanting all of the items, though, which I found really interesting because I just imagine that they're hoarders or trying to sell, I don't know, have like a scrap business on the side.
Right.
But it's a good community resource, though.
Yeah. So Rachel makes fun of me because she feels like I have unrealistic expectations about the group. My expectation is when I give something away, I have like a friendly interaction with the person I give stuff to.
Oh, okay.
So-
I leave my stuff on the porch and just
Yes.
that's what. But you can specify, like, if you're giving something away, you can say, like, come get my stuff, in person pickup. Then they'll know that they have to talk to you. But it's called easy porch pickup, or if you don't want to talk to the person. And it's not because I'm rude. It's just because I don't want to have to work around their schedules if I'm doing stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of flakes on there. People,
there are.
Yeah, people would say they'll pick stuff up and they just never show.
I had a French dictionary sitting in my apartment breezeway for 2 weeks because the person just never came to get it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like also a really uncomfortable thing because if you agree to give it to them and then they don't show up and like you want to rescind it, now this person has your address.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. It's strange. I mean, I live in an apartment, so I leave it, in like a inner door where they can't get into the apartment.
Okay.
So I don't feel too weird about it, but the whole thing is strange.
Yeah.
But in general, have had good experience. Nothing
Yeah.
too weird has happened to me on there. So.
Yeah.
So there's different levels of pickup. There's the easy porch pickup.
Mm-hmm.
There's the pickup exchange and a smile.
Yep.
There's the pickup and a beer. And maybe Michael's
Ooh.
looking for like a pickup and a smooch.
Yeah.
Or just maybe like
Pick up and
we're
a
best
cuddle.
friends.
Pick up and friendship. Yeah.
No, I don't even want friendship. I just want... So when I was moving out of New York, I had this cast iron skillet, and my apartment building had a Facebook group, and I was like, I'm giving away this cast iron skillet. Does anybody want it? And this older guy showed up and was like, yeah, I'd love to take it. And he was like really excited to get the skillet. And he's like, yeah, I saw your post, and I was like, had to come strike while the iron's hot. Literally. And I was like, well, not literally, but I like that joke. But I was like, I was happy with that exchange. I thought it was like a fun interaction.
So you're kind of like chasing the dragon a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I want that high back.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
My favorite story of yours of a failed South Hadley free exchange interaction that you tried to have was when somebody said, I'm actually uncomfortable coming to your house.
Oh, yeah.
Can we meet at Dunkin' Donuts?
Right.
Where you could have hung out with them and had a coffee and a donut and laughed and laughed.
Right. No. I
And
don't
you
wanna-
said, no,
No, I
that's,
don't wanna go all the way to
that's
Dunkin'
not
Donuts."
what I'm looking for.
No.
I'm looking for you to come to my house,
Right.
be my friend,
Right.
and then I'll kill you.
I'll kill you, and that's it.
Right. Exactly.
I want nothing more.
Yeah. Yeah. They have to play by my rules. They're getting my free old curtain, so they want to claim such good prizes.
This podcast sponsored by Hadley Free Stuff.
And old curtains.
And today we're talking about the 1990 movie Kindergarten Cop, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Penelope Ann Miller, and Pamela Reed. So this was one of the picks. Oh no, this was not a pick from our guest. This is a pick from us.
From us. From you.
We sometimes ask the guests what their connection is with the movie, but I guess we picked it. But Kathy, did you have a connection with Kindergarten Cop?
Well, I thought I did. I was all excited. I was like, oh yeah, I watched this movie with my mom once when I was little. I remember laughing about it. But then during the movie, I quickly realized that she must have just shown me like the funny scenes, because I definitely did not recall the part where they murder a girl with tainted Coke. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty intense
Yeah.
for a child.
Right.
Yeah, so I just saw the funny, kid-friendly parts of it when I was little, but I did remember liking it, so I was excited to watch it again.
Okay. And Xena, had you seen this movie before?
I had seen it as a kid. My mom was a big Schwarzenegger fan, so I saw some of his movies. But it was so long ago that I couldn't really remember the movie. I couldn't remember, what his interaction. I think I was getting it confused with Big Daddy a little bit. So I was thinking it was going to be more about like Arnold and one kid, which it kind of was. But I just didn't have a super clear memory of it.
Yeah. And Rachel, did you remember anything about this movie?
Yeah, I felt like I had a pretty decent memory of this movie.
So you were 0 when it came out. Do you remember seeing it then?
I remember coming out of the womb and the movie was playing.
Yeah.
And I think my first word was ferret. I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any memories of it?
Yeah, I mean, this movie gets quoted so much.
Yeah.
So I definitely remembered, like, it's not a dog, it's a ferret. And, like, who is your daddy and what does he do? There's a lot, there's so many lines in
I
it.
forgot that I am the party pooper.
I
was in
forgot
this.
that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That I really enjoyed that whole scene.
Right. Yeah, I didn't remember a ton. I think I just remember the things that like people quote all the time. I just remember like the ferret. It's not a tumor.
Yeah. I'm suddenly having a rememory.
A rememory.
I'm having a rememory right now.
Okay.
Rememory is where you have a memory and you're remembering
Oh, okay.
So I'm remembering that we were maybe prank calling mom with some of the lines from this. Like a
'cause I found a
like
soundboard.
an Arnold Schwarzenegger soundboard.
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't remember how we would have done that because we would have had to somehow like connect the computer to the phone. I guess we just held the computer up to the phone.
Did she think it
Or
was
help-
Arnold?
Maybe.
I feel like she was kind of tricked.
I feel like
And
she
maybe
just,
got
like,
kind
thought-
of mad. I think she was sort of like, I'm not interested. Please stop calling me.
That sounds like something she would say.
Yeah, I don't think she had like a really funny response to it. It was
Right.
more just like irritated, and
Right.
we were like, gotcha. Oh man, too bad we don't have that soundboard now to.
Yeah, I
Play
was.
throughout.
Yeah, I really wanted to. I was hoping we would. We're in a new setup today. This is the first time recording at my house with everybody has their own mic. It's just a big step forward for us. And I was hoping to have it so I could play sounds, but we don't have the technology for that yet.
We're taking it baby steps.
Taking baby steps. Yeah, we have headphones. We can all hear each other now.
Yeah, hear each other think.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger will be our guest on our next episode, just saying. So,
Baby steps.
baby steps.
Do we want to get to the reveal of how we felt about it rewatching? So we'll start out with Kathy. What did you think? Did it hold up?
Some parts did. I feel like that's a cop-out answer. Overall I enjoyed it a lot, but there's definitely some things that I found unrelatable almost 30 years later. Like the part where a parent is concerned that her son has been playing with dolls and he says, "Oh no, don't worry."
Yeah.
He just uses the dolls so he can look up the girls' skirts and they go, "Oh, what a relief."
What a relief.
And things like that, and how they're also shocked that a man can be a kindergarten teacher. It's like things like
Right.
that. It's just not relatable.
Right.
But I mean, I thought it, and it has its cheesy moments too. But I thought it was fun to watch. It
Yeah.
was good story, keeps you engaged.
Right.
I liked the ferret a lot, so I liked it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Zena, what did you think?
I absolutely loved it.
Oh, yeah.
I loved it. I was clapping at the end.
Uh-huh.
We were screaming and hollering.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I definitely noticed that like there's quite a few things like boys playing with dolls was like not okay.
Right.
And then,
A big cause for concern.
yeah, in one scene the boys were the ones doing the push-ups and like the girls were sitting and watching, and it was definitely very behind the times
Right.
in how we would talk to kids about like gender identity and,
Right.
and that sort of thing. And I was working with kindergartners at an after school, and so I was thinking about that a little bit, and yeah, just about how cute they are.
Right.
But yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And Rachel?
Loved it also. Yeah, Zena and I watched it together. Didn't talk about it, don't worry.
I heard a moment ago that there was applause at the end. I feel like that's a bit of a reveal.
What do you mean? We couldn't help ourselves.
couldn't contain
Are we supposed to not
ourselves.
laugh or react to the movie? Are
Yes.
you kidding? We were whooping it up.
You have to
and
be in like privacy curtains.
I mean, you have to understand for the most part, when you're watching a movie with Rachel, you're not really allowed to talk in general. She likes to focus on the
Right.
on the movie, and I kind of had to like adjust how I watched movies when I
Right.
started watching movies with Rachel. You can't just be talking over the movie,
Uh-huh.
you know.
No. But that's how it is for you too, Michael.
Yeah, I like to focus on the movie.
I think that's kind of our family's way.
Yeah.
This Lynch family watches movies very poorly, and I think it's the reason I didn't see a lot of movies when I was little. People talk the entire time.
Oh, really?
Somebody's loudly doing dishes and screaming in the
Uh-huh.
next room. So
But that's not your personal policy on movie watching.
not anymore. No,
Okay.
it took me a few years to get out of the habit.
Yeah. So I loved the first half. Like all the interactions with the children, I thought was great. The second half I felt like kind of slowed down when it gets much more into the like plot line of the killer guy coming back. But I thought the kids were like so amazingly cast.
Oh my gosh.
So good. The little girl from Beethoven
Yeah.
is the best.
Yeah.
That's where
Is
she's
she the one who
from.
can't get her overalls?
Yeah,
Right.
overalls. So cute. I'm not a policeman, I'm a princess.
And then she wears overalls 2 days in a row.
Right.
Cute.
And then I love when my favorite moment in the movie is when he's asking her what her dad does. And she's like, my daddy is the boss of a computer company and he uses a computer and he has a mustache and a beard and he has a really big head so he can't wear any hats. But starting off, so one of the questions I had is like, who is this movie for? Because it seems like it's for little
adults.
kids. Yeah, but then the beginning is super violent.
Yeah.
Like
The beginning is so violent.
somebody gets shot and then Arnold Schwarzenegger handcuffs that person's girlfriend to
To
the
a dead body.
I feel like kids' movies used to have. It used to be more like both. Like
Yeah.
to make a kids'
Right.
movies, you had to appeal to the parents, and the parents were okay with the kids seeing the violence and
Right.
stuff. How did your guys' parents feel about violence? Oh,
Oop.
I'm so sorry.
Xena violated our table interference. Oh gosh. This is the downside of the new recording studio. I have a table that's made of springs. Our parents didn't like me to see violence, or didn't like us to see violence. They were very okay with sex.
Just Michael.
Okay, yeah. I feel like Rachel and I had this conversation because my mom was okay with me watching violence, but not sex.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because our
Which is
parents
a
were
little
like,
flip flop. Oh
I
my
think
god,
that
I dropped
tends
a pen. I'm making all sorts of noises. I'm so sorry.
I think that tends to be more of the common way that parents tend
American
to be
way.
more the American. That actually really though.
Yeah.
Really actually though.
For really
the
actually.
really though. That it's like tends to be more parents are okay with showing violence but not sex. I always thought our parents had such a good rationale, which was that they always felt like eventually we would be having sex and that's like a healthy part of life, but they would never want us to be violent.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a healthy part of life, so they didn't want that included.
Yeah, totally.
Kathy, what kind of movies were you allowed to watch growing up?
My parents were pretty strict when we were younger. They're all Catholic and party poopers.
Christ has died.
Christ is risen.
Wait.
That's a banger.
Let's do it. Christ will come again.
Yeah. Then the nun starts letting it rip on the keyboard. Yeah.
Jamming out.
So I didn't see a lot of violent or sexual movies or if we did, my parents would fast forward through the parts that we couldn't see. I remember one time when I was 12, I was home alone for my parents went to the grocery store or something, so I watched parts of Never Been Kissed. I was like, looking back, it's not really a super sultry film or anything.
Right.
So, but then one day it was a switch flipped and we were suddenly allowed to watch South Park and they didn't. They stopped.
Whoa.
They stopped being so
That's a big
strict.
jump.
So,
Yeah.
it went 0 to 60 pretty
Yeah.
quickly.
So when you said you remembered seeing Kindergarten Cop, but you didn't remember anything but the funny parts. Maybe they did show it to you, and it was just the edited for Catholics version.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I missed out on a lot of the plot, but I got to see Arnold acting crazy with the kids.
Yeah. So yeah, besides the getting handcuffed to the corpse, was there anything interesting in the?
I love when he's walking through the mall in his very inconspicuous detective attire.
Oh yeah.
He's
It's little sunglasses.
going around in this giant trench coat, just blowing in the wind,
Right.
and he's got the massive scruff on his face,
Right. And he's supposed to be undercover.
He's supposed to be undercover. He's got the sunglasses on, and he's just looking like so oily and
Right.
intense and tan.
Yeah, and the person he's following is also trying to be inconspicuous, but they're the most obviously criminal person in the shopping mall. It's
Yeah.
a guy in a suit and a ponytail, and so then he just shows up to a crack den and just starts shooting
With
people.
a giant
Yeah.
gun.
Oh yeah, what
Giant
kind of gun
shotgun.
was that? That was great.
Holy
It
shit.
was a one out of the.
And really
Yeah.
all he wanted to do was talk to this guy's girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
It's a potential witness, so that's all he was trying to do. He just walks in and starts shooting at everybody.
And they were shooting at him.
Yeah.
Too. I was like, is this a normal?
Right.
That's normal. That's what happens in crackdowns.
So she doesn't want to testify, and so then that's what is the inciting incident that makes it so that he has to go undercover as this kindergarten cop and go to... Well, it's actually not supposed to be him. We get introduced to Pamela Reed, whose name I didn't know until I saw this movie, but she was from Junior. That's
love
all
her.
I knew her from. Yeah,
I love her.
really liked her in Junior, and I totally forgot about her in this movie.
She's really the same character.
She's the same character.
Including the fact that she loves eating.
Yeah.
And she gets sick.
Right.
In both.
Right. But they have to partner up. She's supposed to be the substitute teacher. And then she gets sick when they
day.
For one day. And so he decides he has to be the kindergarten teacher. But the thing that I thought was funny was I was watching with my girlfriend Allegra, and so Pamela Reed is in the back seat of the car, like vomiting, and Allegra's like, what's happening? It's kind of set up like it's going to be like a romance between the two of them, but they're not making her seem like a romantic interest at all. So like, what's going on here? Mm-hmm. And I couldn't remember either. Like, it did kind of seem like they could end up together, but she doesn't really seem like a romantic lead.
Right.
And just the way it seemed like she was more like his foil. Mm-hmm. But I love, there's a part where she's vomiting in the car and he has to take her to the hotel room, and he just is like carrying her entire body. Like, he's just like
she's
carrying
just,
her in his
like,
arms.
so
and
floppy.
She's limp. Yeah, she just like goes completely limp. And just, so for the entire movie, like, the thing I kept thinking is like, these people are having so much fun making this movie.
Yeah.
She seemed especially to be having so much fun, just like doing that, like lying limp and letting Schwarzenegger carry her to her room. But then like everything they did, like all the stuff with the kids seemed like so much fun.
Yeah.
And then like later on in the movie, she does like she has to pretend to be Austrian, and she's like doing this Austrian accent in front of him.
Right.
So then Arnold shows up and meets the class. I thought it was funny. There's a lot of parts in the movie where they've just left the kindergartners unsupervised. Like when he comes in, there was no adult in the room. It was like, oh yeah, we're glad that you're here because we don't have anybody.
Here's the 36-year-olds.
Right. But yeah, like coming back to that, like those kids were amazingly cast. They were so cute and just like really natural actors.
I feel like you can tell the lines that are scripted and the lines that are not.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, especially when they're doing Who Is Your Daddy and What Does He Do?
Right.
There are certain ones like the twins, that's scripted.
Yeah, our dad is a sex machine.
Right. Our mom says our dad is a real sex machine. Ooh, good job.
Good twinning.
Good job, Lynch twins.
But then the other kids, they probably just asked them. They just really asked them, like,
right.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Right.
And they just answered.
Yeah.
Which I think is included the little girl from Beethoven.
Yeah. How'd you guys feel about the ferret? Well, we know Xena loved the ferret.
I absolutely love the ferret. Yeah.
I love the ferret as well. The part when Phoebe was like laying in the back of the car sick and the ferret comes out of the coat. I was really surprised. I screamed too when I was watching it. I completely forgot there was a ferret. I was so excited when he just popped out.
Is that when he says, "Oh, excuse me, I forgot to tell you, this is my ferret"?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I wrote that line down.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that was a great in our last podcast we played, or wait, was it our last one? No,
two ago.
Two ones ago we played Porn or Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
And that was just a great line that could have
Right.
been in porn
or
not porn, porn or Kindergarten Cop. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to tell you that was my ferret. Oh, so good.
That's why I like the first half so much, because he realizes they're like terrorizing him and he can't really control the class, and then he comes up with this idea of making it like some kind of like military police school, and he gets the kids to respond to like whistleblowers and stuff, which seemed like kind of implausible, but it's like I'm willing to look the other way because it's.
I didn't think that was so implausible. Of all the things in this movie, that was like the least implausible.
What were the other implausible things? Well, I guess the fact that he's supposed to be a kindergarten teacher.
Yeah, like the basic premise of the movie.
Right. He gets into that role really quickly. So then he
Sure
meets the
does.
third grade teacher, who is obviously the romantic lead, like as soon as you see her.
Immediately.
Yeah, because you're like, I was kind of like, is he going to end up with Pamela Reed? And then like he goes and sees the third grade teacher, and she's sitting on her desk in a short skirt with her legs crossed, and you're like, no, it's definitely her. Yeah. So they end up like meeting at a restaurant accidentally. He's with his partner. So yeah, I love that scene where she's like pretending to be his sister, and she's kind of like, he's trying to get out of the situation. She's like kind of pimping him into like, no, of course we're going to have dinner with you.
Right. She really gets into that character
Yeah.
so quickly. She's like a real, she's like a real actress.
Yeah. But in that scene, he's like, the other teacher's asking him why he got to be a kindergarten teacher, and he's like, I used to be a high school teacher and I felt like I was reaching them too late. I wanted to get involved. Or like, wow, that's like an elaborate backstory that you thought of. That seems very realistic.
Yeah.
So he went from being like hard ass, busts into a room and shoots everybody very quickly to sensitive kindergarten teacher.
Right.
Yeah. So what did you think of the romance between him and the third grade teacher?
It was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was passable. I was like, yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
It worked.
Right.
Worked just fine.
Uh-huh. It's another movie, like every movie we've done, there's some big lie. This is yet another movie where the big lie in their relationship is he can't tell her that he's secretly an undercover cop.
Yeah.
What is the big lie in your relationship, Michael?
In my relationship,
Yeah.
that I'm an undercover cop.
Oh,
Allegra,
okay.
don't listen. I have to get enough to listen to this episode. I guess it's me just being tired of like every movie there's some big lie between characters for the entire movie. Maybe that's just every movie
I
has
feel
that.
like
We've
that's
never noticed
so
before.
common. Maybe especially in like 90s movies.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's so often that I feel this frustration when I'm watching a movie, especially when we were kids. Like I remember that feeling very well, feeling like just tell
them. Yeah.
the truth.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
Everything would be easier if you just told the truth immediately.
Right. And how did you feel about her son?
I was reading about Kindergarten Cop on Wikipedia today, and I didn't realize her son is actually played by two kids,
Yeah.
twins, which I thought was super interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was. Don't hate me if you feel differently, but he was like my least favorite of all the kids in the movie.
He was the goody two shoe.
Yeah,
Do you think it has something to do
was.
with that?
I don't know. I was a goody two shoes too, but I hate myself, so I hate this kid. No, I didn't dislike him. I just thought I liked the other kids better. He just when the part where when Arnold he has like his first day of class where he's like doing well and really reaching out to the kids, and so then Dominic like gives him the little like, hey, you're doing okay. So I was
yeah.
like, no one would do that. Stop it.
Right.
But I did like him though. I liked his little secret forts he would build and big things like that.
So with the Secret Force, I had completely forgotten this. I remember as a kid, I would build all this aluminum foil stuff. I was like, oh, I want to make lasers. And me and my next door neighbor, Mikey, we just seen like satellite dishes and lasers in movies and had no concept of like how they worked or anything. But when we saw Kindergarten Cop, we were like, oh, that's how you make lasers. And so we were just like constantly putting together like aluminum foil to do something, and it didn't do anything. Did you guys have anything like that where like there was something you were always trying to do when you were little?
I was trying to be a witch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I don't think I told anyone because I was really trying to do it
On the
realistically.
DL. Yeah.
I thought it was like, I wouldn't become a witch if I told people
sure.
that I was trying to be a witch.
I was trying to be a witch too. I'd go in my room and just like burn a bowl of potpourri. This seems mythical. I think Nick Rossi will like me now.
I spent most of my time talking to fairies. So
Oh, really?
Not far from witchcraft. but-
Yeah.
Let's talk about that little boy. He was the tiniest kid in the
kid.
class. I wanted that child.
That's always talking about sex.
Yes.
Boys have a penis, girls have a vagina.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And I love, after he says that, he like pumps his arms in victory.
yeah.
Like he's so excited that he said it.
That's so cute. And he's got that great bowl cut.
Yeah. Yeah,
like a-
that kid was so cute.
It's like a mixing bowl. It was very like deep.
Right. So the other thing I thought was interesting with the kids, like it's still kind of in the first half when the movie's about the little kids mostly, one of the kids is being abused. And it's like a
Yeah.
surprisingly heavy plot point. I felt like they actually did it really well. Like it didn't feel like jammed in. It didn't actually feel like it was out of tone of the movie. It felt like they took that seriously, and Schwarzenegger cared a lot. And yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly how you would want to
That's how you
handle
would
a
want it.
domestic violence case. Absolutely. That
But-
he took the right action.
Well, so the thing
He
is,
didn't actually punch the guy first. He just
I think he like
just like got in his
punched him.
face.
he punched him in the stomach, but
He
then
punched him in the
stopped when he
stomach.
went to the
No,
face.
but the guy was going to punch him. He just got in. Schwarzenegger just got in his face, and then the guy started to punch him.
Yeah, prior to that, he had yelled at the mother, telling her that if it happened
Oh,
again,
yeah,
he was going to press charges. That's always a comforting thing to
Right.
tell someone.
So the thing I loved about that scene is like Arnold Schwarzenegger is Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the guy he's talking to is like an average looking guy. And the
Yes.
guy's like, I know what I'll do. I'll punch this guy. Like you would not punch Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like especially if the person you're used to fighting is like a 9-year-old boy or
Right.
like a 6-year-old boy.
Well, I think someone just, what did they do? Like, tried to, like, kick drop
Oh,
Arnold
yeah,
Schwarzenegger
you
at
sent us that link. Somebody
Drop kick.
Drop kick. Kick drop.
kick drop.
Xena has
Drop
a
the
tendency. Xena has a tendency of switching her words around for.
I don't know if I asked for my
For
eggs
phrases.
over easy or easy over, but I don't even know what's the right way to say it. but
Usually
Rachel-
you say easy over.
Okay, so I'm assuming over easy is
Is the
how
correct
most
one.
people say it.
Yeah.
Oh, but the thing I love, like, after he kind of gets in the fight with the dad, the principal calls him in, and you think he's going to get fired.
I love
And she just tells him what a great teacher he is. And then she's like, how did it feel hitting that guy?
yeah.
And he's like, it felt great.
Yes.
She's so
She's such a tiny little woman.
Yeah.
And so he leaves her office and she's like punching
Yeah,
the
she's
air.
like fantasizing about it. I like that.
Yeah, that was good.
I think from that point on, it gets very heavy into this drug dealer that's coming back to, like, re-kidnap his kid.
Crisp Cullen.
Chris Cullen.
Yeah, what a good name.
Or Cullen Crisp, sorry.
Oh,
I
Cullen
did it.
Crisp.
Oh, Cullen
Very
Crisp. That's what I
good.
was trying to think. Do they call him Mr. Crisp?
I think they call him Crisp.
Yeah.
At
Crisp.
some point.
And he also has this, like, creepy mom. Oh, I forgot to look up who the mom was. The mom looked very familiar to me.
He and the mom, I was thinking, they're such, like, cartoon villains.
Right.
You know? They're like
Right.
101 Dalmatians,
Yes.
Cruella de
Right.
She was
Vil,
Cruella de Vil with her one white streak in her hair.
Right.
which our mom used to have. She
Yeah.
used to have a white streak in her hair like
And
that.
a lot of Dalmatian coats she would wear.
She would wear
Your
a
mom?
lot of
Huh.
Dalmatian
Was
coats.
she Cruella
Yeah.
de Vil?
Yeah, she
Now
would
you
drive.
mention it.
She would speed down the road trying to kill puppies. I hated when she did that.
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
That's why you guys are cat people, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite scenes is when Arnold comes back to the hotel room and thinks that there's somebody attacking
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this.
Pamela Reed.
Right.
And you hear all the... My favorite part about this is you hear all these sex noises.
Right.
And he opens the door and she's just eating pasta. And they're not even having sex.
Oh, I actually totally forgot. Like, I totally missed that.
They're not having sex. She's just making yummy
Enjoying pasta,
noises.
yeah. Wait, was it Pamela Reed at the gym with you making those noises?
I was just
was
thinking
she
that
eating pasta?
maybe the guy was just eating a lot of pasta and he
Yeah.
was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good Cliff Bar.
And how did we feel about her fiance?
Love him.
Love
He's a
him.
great guy.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not in more stuff. Like, I thought he was a good comic actor.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, he's a chef, not an actor. So.
Oh, that's true. He was just the craft services guy on set. Like, oh, we need somebody to fall over stuff. But he had kind of like goofy line where he's just like falling all over the place and
And he just casually like put on Phoebe's pink.
oh
bathrobe.
yeah.
Love that.
I liked that.
So there was like this running theme in the movie where like nobody ever wants to talk to the police. So the girlfriend,
I
it
know.
didn't really make any
Everybody's
sense.
very distrustful of the police
Right.
in this movie.
yeah.
And they're all white, so I don't understand why.
Yeah, so she's like very distrustful. Oh yeah, she eventually agrees to like kind of take police protection and then they don't really do that much. The way they protect the kids is just they have his partner come too.
Right. She still goes to school. Her son goes to class the next day. That doesn't really make sense because they know
Yeah.
Crisp is coming.
Yeah. Yeah, then that leads to the climax where Crisp sets a fire in the building, in the school. Which also, like, I was kind of like, why can't you just pull the fire alarm? Like, why do you actually have to start a fire? So, yeah, then, of course, like, Dominic is, like, the one person that gets separated from the group, and the dad grabs him. But I like, there's, like, a part, what did you guys think of? Like, Schwarzenegger is sweeping through the building trying to find Dominic, and he busts in on these two kids making out. Like, did you guys have a reaction to that?
I laughed. I thought it was
I
funny.
thought they were way too young. They looked like they were, like, 10.
Well, I thought they were like 15.
But it's an elementary school.
Yeah, they did kind of look like more middle schooly to me, huh? When did you start making out with kids at school in the teacher's lounge? I didn't do that till middle school. I didn't do that in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't do that till high school, but for some reason in the movie I didn't. Yeah, I guess because it still seemed like kind of innocent. It's not there.
Right.
What grade did you guys have your first crush? Do you remember?
Oh, like
First crush?
preschool.
I think kindergarten.
Yeah, mine was like second grade. one boy and then a different boy starting in 4th grade, which continued on to
Who were you
8th grade.
burning the things for?
This guy named Nick.
Nick. And what grade was that?
That was that was in 6th grade.
Oh, yeah?
Burning potpourri, doing fake witchcraft to get this guy to like me.
Did it work at all?
No, he didn't notice me.
Oh. Did you ever have any like meaningful interactions with him?
Sometimes he'd tell me he liked my Blink-182 shirt.
Oh.
Which, at that age, that is how much more meaningful can you get,
Right.
really?
He basically proposed.
Yeah. But then he started dating Christina.
God damn it.
Ugh.
Where's he now?
I
Where are
have
he
no
What
idea.
are
You don't
he and
think
Christina
he'll
doing?
No, I don't. I my school was a lot smaller. Like our middle schools and junior highs, and then once we got into high school, I kind of like lost track of a lot of people. It's just like a lot bigger school, so he could be anywhere.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I remember like crushes in middle school and high school where like people that I like interacted with like 3 or 4 times, but I remember those 3 or 4 interactions. Mm-hmm. Like I remember there's this one girl that everybody in my school had a crush on, and one time she sat in front of me in earth science.
What was her name?
Charlotte.
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar to me.
Oh yeah, I couldn't tell you because I didn't want you to know that I was a witch.
What?
I was just trying to call back to you saying that you couldn't tell anybody that you were a witch.
Oh.
Anyway, one time, I'll just cut all this out. Bleep out the names so I don't get embarrassed.
I liked it.
Charlotte, are you listening?
Charlotte, are you out there?
She like turned around and she was like, Mike, can I see your notes? And like my notes were terrible. I was like generally a good student, but I knew that my notes for that class were like really, really bad. And I was like, oh, sure. And then I was like, oh no, she's seen my awful notes.
But she wasn't even taking notes.
I don't know why she wanted to see my notes. I don't.
She was a bad note taker, and she knew she could just rely on you to give her the notes.
No, it was just that one day. I think she was actually a pretty good student. Yeah, that was another like thing that was kind of strange at my high school. Or maybe this is just my perception. Like, I feel like all of the like popular attractive girls were also good students.
I feel like the popular kids when I was in school were pretty smart. Or at least, not that they were smart, they were like good students, and they cheated off each other.
Oh.
They all cheated off each other.
Yeah. Those attractive cheaters.
Yeah. And Michael, there was a whole controversy when you were in high school about cheating.
Oh, yeah.
Because what were you trying to get into?
The National Honor Society.
National Honor Society for the nation. And they said to Michael, they said, "You're such a great student. Have you ever in your life cheated?" And sweet little Michael, sweet little honest baby Michael said, "Yes, I have."
No, that's not true.
No, what happened?
No, it was, have you let people cheat off you?
Oh, sweet little baby honest Michael said, "Yes, I have let people cheat off me."
Right. And they were like, no, then you can't be in the National Honor
They said,
Society.
"You can't be in it." And he said, "Every other kid is lying."
Well, I didn't
Did
say
you
that.
say that?
No.
Mom said that. Mom said, "Bullshit." She went to them and she told them, "No, every other kid who said that they haven't done that is lying."
No, like the whole story is like pretty embarrassing because it's.
Really?
It wasn't even like, have you ever done it? It's like, do you do this now? And I was like, yeah. And I like came up with some rationalization for like why it's okay to let people cheat off you as long as you're not cheating. And they were like, no, that's dumb. And they were like, you can't be in the National Honor Society, which looking back, I think was the correct call. But then Mom was like, you shouldn't be kicked out for being honest. And then she complained to them, and then they were like, I think they're basically like, we'll let you in as long as you just say you don't currently let people cheat off of you. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah, you're right, I don't let people cheat off. I won't in the future. And they're like, okay, then fine. And then that was it.
Why is that embarrassing?
Because it's like not a very good moral position. Like it wasn't like I took a really like, it wasn't like I was right and everybody else was wrong. Like I was wrong, everybody else was wronger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just
not
doing
bad.
what you had to survive in high school.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I was proud of you.
Okay.
In 5th grade, my teacher had us submit scary stories for a scary story competition, and I didn't really feel like putting any effort into it, and I just kind of wrote a story that I had heard already, a scary story I had heard already, and I won the competition. It got published in like the school newspaper. I felt so guilty, but I didn't fess up. I didn't say, actually, I'm just a bag of shit.
Could have been the title of the scary story.
Plagiarizing bag of shit.
Kathy, did you ever cheat or let people cheat?
I let people cheat off me. Even like as late as high school, there was this one kid who would ask me to copy my homework pretty frequently, and I let him sometimes, and then other times I'd be like, "Oh man, I didn't do it yet either. I'm a badass too."
And sneak in your homework.
Yeah. But really, I had done my homework. And, yeah.
Which takes us back to Kindergarten Cop.
Exactly.
Well, I do have a bit of trivia for that makeout scene. Do you know who the boy was
Which makeout scene?
No.
in Kindergarten Cop?
The fire drill.
During the fire drill.
Uh-huh.
The boy is Jason Reitman, the director's son, Ivan Reitman. So Jason Reitman is the writer-director of Up in the Air, and he directed Juno. I think he wrote and directed Young Adult. But a lot of like really good stuff. And he was just like a little 12-year-old boy at that point.
Nice.
Wait, that's him, the director?
The boy grew up to be Jason Reitman, the director. Ivan Reitman is the director of Kindergarten Cop, and he put his son in this movie.
Oh.
And then Jason Reitman grew up to be
Direct.
a writer and director himself.
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute.
But yeah, so we get to this like, I like the scene where Crisp is talking to his son, is like, "I'm a fireman, I help people." And he's like, "You're not a fireman." He's like, "Oh, I can't trick my own son. I'm your dad." And then, yeah, so the ferret bites Crisp and it distracts him enough. I guess Schwarzenegger shoots him.
Yeah.
And then the mother comes and she's about to shoot Schwarzenegger. Oh, she had just run over his partner with her car. And so she's about to shoot Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, she does shoot him?
She does.
Yeah, she gets him like in the shoulder.
Oh, and then he like crawls to the shower. And she's about to kill him. And then Pamela Reed comes back and whacks her with a baseball bat. I had totally forgotten about this part. She says, "You're not so tough without your car."
Yeah, that is good.
And I remember as a kid loving that line and like thinking it was so cool. And I was watching with Allegra and she's like, "That's not a cool line, but it's like framed as if it's supposed to be cool." And it is. That's not clever or anything. Like
No.
you think it's going to be like a pun or something.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you don't have a car and I hit you with a baseball bat.
She's just saying what the situation is.
Right. Yeah, so anything else we missed?
When Phoebe goes to visit Arnold.
Oh, right. And we get another scene with the fiance.
Another scene with the fiance. But when she goes to see him, she gives him a kiss on the lips.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, is that a thing that people did more often back in the day?
I don't know.
Like a platonic kiss on the lips?
Maybe there are families that kiss on the lips, and which I've always found very strange, but I've seen it. So.
Yeah.
I feel like little kids, you can kiss little kids on the lips in a family.
Yeah.
But
Good thing you added that.
yeah, not just willy-nilly.
I thought it was maybe since they had just both been in this like near-death situation that
All bets are off.
they were
You get a
just
pass.
feeling the platonic lip kiss.
But yeah, anything else? Should we move on to the whoops?
Let's talk about the whoops.
So Xena traditionally... well, first, I guess we'll explain the whoop system to the extent that it can be explained. Kathy, we, at the end, give movies a rating in units of whoops.
Okay. Is there a bound?
No, there's no bound.
Okay.
Boundless whoops.
Sometimes 2 is the highest, sometimes 10 is the highest. And it's kind of depending on how Xena feels, because Xena kind of was the pioneer of the whoop system.
Oh. I don't even remember that. I was so drunk at the time.
But we also don't... It's whatever your heart tells you.
All right.
So, Xena, do you want to start off?
Sure. It went something like this. Whoop, 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 It got 1 million whoops.
1 million whoops.
1 million whoops.
Well, they were like all very compressed together. It sounded like it sounded like a screech.
I can go on if you'd like me to.
No, I heard all 1 million. Any reason for 1 million? That's the highest rating anything has gotten on this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so far.
Yeah.
The kindergartners.
So it's 500,000 times better than Multiplicity.
Yeah.
So
I mean, no, they were pretty close. They were neck and
Okay,
neck. You know.
okay. Well, retroactively,
Yeah.
give Multiplicity around 1 million.
Yeah, you know.
maybe 2. I would say Multiplicity, going back on it, now that we've really set the tone of the whoop scale, 2 million whoops.
2
I
million
don't
whoops.
even remember how many whoops we gave it.
I think you gave it
I
2
think we
whoops.
gave it
2 whoops. That was me literally speaking. I literally
Right.
whooped twice.
Right.
I whooped twice that day.
Okay.
Yeah, just the kindergartners, Arnold, their interaction, everything was good.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Rachel, how about you?
Oh, same. Should we
A
go
million.
into it?
We actually.
David had to. My roommate David, other roommate from Jeff. There's Jeff and David.
Sure.
My 2 sweet boys. Love you, boys.
Do they listen?
Who knows? By that I mean definitely not. Maybe they will if I tell them they had a cameo.
Yeah. That's what we should do. We should just like name
Oh,
everybody.
yeah.
and
We
then
should
be
tell
like,
all
"Oh
our
my
friends.
gosh,
You had a
We
cameo.
talked about you.
Tell was it Nick? Nick?
Oh,
Oh,
Nick.
you should tell Nick.
Facebook
And
message,
Charlotte, tell
Yeah,
Charlotte that we
Like,
cameoed
you came
him.
up during an episode of Dusty VCR.
That's right.
You're going to want to check that out.
That's right.
Honestly, I am afraid somebody will tell Charlotte.
Really?
I can't.
Do you know her?
No. We're Facebook friends.
Ooh, let's call her up.
Yeah.
Charlotte!
Charlotte on the line.
Charlotte, you're live with Dusty VCR.
Will you marry us, Charlotte?
What am I saying? Oh yeah, so David came down when we were whooping it up. He came down the stairs laughing, saying, "You guys are clapping at the movie." And we were clapping, whooping. 1 million whoops.
We were whooping on the couch, and David came in.
Yep.
So I'll give it. Let's see. I'll just count up the whoops. So I'll give it a whoop for the ferret. I'll give it a whoop for that girl from Beethoven, the girl who's adorable. A whoop from little boy who is constantly talking about sex.
What about for Phoebes?
Phoebe? Oh, the love interest?
No, the
Phoebes?
O'Hara, the partner.
Oh, yeah. Whoop for her fiance.
What about
Whoop for Arnold.
my father was a cop, my mother was a cop, my brother was a cop.
You're like Brooklyn Arnold. I'm Arnold.
Sorry, I did it once and then I couldn't stop.
Yeah. So what was that, like 6 whoops? And then
I
like,
wasn't counting.
let's say like 8 or 9 whoops. I'll give it 8
Oh
or 9
my
whoops.
gosh, nice.
Yeah. I think that's one of my highest also. And Kathy, what's your whoop scale
I think
for this?
I'm going to give it a cool 900,000.
900,000?
Nice.
Okay.
I like the million range.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I really enjoyed the film. I
Yeah.
got really excited, especially whenever the ferret came on the screen.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a good time watching it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I think that wraps it up. We've fully explored Kindergarten Cop. And Kathy, where can people find you online?
Well, my Instagram name is ooh-wah-ah-ah, such like from the Disturbed song.
Oh.
That's my handle on there. But if you can't find that, you can search my name, Kathy Lynch, and I do satire writing as well as comedy. So I have some pieces that I've published in Reductress and McSweeney's.
Oh, yeah. I read your articles in the Reductress. I like
Thank
those.
you. And I also I have one coming out on this other website called the Belladonna Comedy later this
Oh,
week.
somebody I know from college writes for them.
Oh, cool. And then I'll be at the 413 Comedy Open Mic at the 413 Bar in East Hampton, which is a fun open mic that's hosted by Avi Elstern, another comedian who lives in the area, and that's on Thursdays.
Okay, awesome.
Owned by the mayor's brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can find us online at dustyvcr.com and on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Dusty VCR.
Our
Anything on
Instagram is blowing up.
Oh yeah, do we just have that one?
We
one
have
photo so
two.
I think we
two
got
posts.
2 posts. Stay
Ooh.
tuned for my muscle shirt. Hey.
Well, by now, if you're listening, it's probably already there.
far? Depending on our Instagram.
Go check
pace.
it out.
We publish this live. This is a live episode we're doing.
Yes.
All right. Thanks everybody. Bye.
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 Bye.